Hey everyone, it's Mr. Hollywood, and today I am doing my top 5 favorite movie trilogies, showdown style. There will be 5 rounds. First movie, second movie, third movie, consistency factor, and then my personal favorites. And I will just give you my top 5 in order of when the first film was released. So this is kind of just the finalists, and then I'll go right into it. So the 5 movie trilogies are my favorite in order of when the first one was released. The Fistful of Dollars trilogy, the Godfather trilogy, the original Star Wars trilogy, the Lord of the Rings trilogy, and the newly Knives Out trilogy, which the third film just came out a few months ago. So yeah, those are my 5 favorite in order of when they were released. Let's start by talking about round 1, the consistency factor. And when I'm talking about consistency, I'm actually talking about like cohesiveness of how does it feel just as a trilogy. Number 5, I will say Knives Out. Now, they are all great movies as just amazing individual movies. I will say cohesiveness, they do feel like 3 just individual movies. They don't like exactly feel like they're direct sequels to each other, and that's totally fine because they're still amazing movies, but that's why they would be number 5 on cohesiveness. Number 4, I will say the Fistful of Dollars trilogy. Now, I feel like the second and third one do feel like pretty direct sequels. The first one does feel a little bit disconnected from the second and third. Like I said, all 5 of these trilogies are amazing, cohesive, or are just amazing individual movies. And like, this is a pretty the Fistful of Dollars trilogy is a pretty cohesive trilogy. However, even though it is a pretty cohesive, I think it's only the 4th most cohesive on the list. Number 3, I will say the Star Wars original trilogy is the 3rd most cohesive. Now, I do think it is mostly pretty consistent in terms of cohesiveness, and obviously there are amazing individual movies. I will say there are definitely still stuff that you could easily tell was made up along the way. Like, for example, Luke and Leia kissing in Empire Strikes Back, and then them being revealed to be siblings in Return of the Jedi it definitely shows, yeah, that definitely probably wasn't part of the original plan. There are bits and pieces through that sprinkled in throughout the original trilogy, but overall it doesn't change the fact that they're still amazing movies, and I do think they are more cohesive than the other 2. Number 2 is the Godfather trilogy. The first 2 very much so feel very cohesive with each other, very compatible. However, the third film, partially because of all the backstory behind the making of the third film, like for example, Francis Ford Coppola went broke, so he made this to try to get out of debt. And then Robert Duvall wasn't in the third film because they didn't pay him enough, so he quit. So it's like, yeah, there are definitely things where when you get to the third film, even though I actually like the third film a lot more than most people, and I do think it still does a good job of looping around from the first 2, it does feel like a bit of the outlier of the trilogy. Which means number 1, in terms of a cohesive trilogy, is definitely the Lord of the Rings trilogy. I do think it has a very cohesive vision throughout all 3 movies. And, they had the same director for all 3. Actually, I believe 4 of these 5 actually had the same director for all 3. So, like Lord of the Rings is very cohesive. They were all 1 year apart in terms of release. And yeah, I just think they are a very cohesive trilogy, and I think it's definitely the most cohesive on this list. Now, we're going to get into the more fun stuff, first movies. Now, coming in at number 5, I'm going to say Fistful of Dollars. Now, all 15 of these individual movies are great movies. I just want to say that up front. And Fistful of Dollars is a great movie. It's a lot of fun. I really introduced this world. Clint Eastwood was just so much fun. And in terms of quality, you could even argue it's better than 1 or 2 of these first movies. However, I just don't see myself going back to this as much as I see myself going back to the other 4. But it is still a great movie, and even though it's my least favorite of the first movies, that's not a shot against the movie. It's still a great movie. Number 4, I'm going to say Knives Out. I mean, Knives Out is a great mystery. It kind of created its own genre of mystery. I thought the ensemble was really fun. I just thought the movie overall was just a blast from start to finish. And there really isn't that many things I have wrong with this. I guess if I had a little bit of a problem, I guess like I feel like Chris Evans' character probably should have had more screen time. So yeah, there's like little things I could criticize, but overall, Knives Out is a great movie, and it is number 4 of the first movies. Number 3 is Star Wars Episode 4: A New Hope. Now, I've actually had a bit of a new appreciation for A New Hope. I mean, I've always loved the movie, but for a while, it was my least favorite of the original trilogy. But I would actually say it's actually not only not my least favorite of the original trilogy at this moment in time. However, I mean, I just liked it. I would say I like it more than Knives Out at this moment in time, which if you asked me a few months ago, I probably would have said I like Knives Out more. But I mean, the original Star Wars: A New Hope, great hero's journey, start to finish. I mean, it's a classic. I don't even really know what else I have to say about A New Hope. I mean, yeah, there are things that haven't aged the best, but overall, it doesn't change the fact this is still an amazing movie. Introduced us to all of our favorite characters, and the trench run was just cinema. So yeah, New Hope, great number 3, but the top 2, I just think are on a whole other level for first movies. I'm going to say number 2 is Lord of the Rings, Fellowship of the Ring. What an amazing start to this Middle-earth franchise. I mean, I just think the movie just feels so rich and magical. And, I mean, just overall, it introduced us to all these amazing characters. The adventure aspects just felt so whimsical and magical. And Howard Shore's score is amazing. I mean, yeah, Lord of the Rings, Fellowship of the Ring is an amazing movie, and it is number 2. But number 1, I'm going to say The Godfather. I mean, The Godfather, a film that was probably in my 40s, I believe, when I did my top 50 list last year. I would say it's probably in my top 20 at this moment in time. I mean, I rewatched the entire Godfather trilogy a few months ago on the big screen. Well, actually for second and third run, that was actually a first time watch. For the first film, I've seen it a few times. And yeah, the first Godfather is just an amazing movie. The whole cast, front to bottom, is just great. Marlon Brando in this gave one of the all-time great acting performances. Al Pacino, who I actually do like more as the trilogy went on, but he was great in this. James Caan as Sonny was great. Robert Duvall was great, which rest in peace to Robert Duvall, who recently passed. I mean, the entire cast was great. Diane Keaton, who also recently passed, but she was amazing. And, I mean, the score was amazing. I mean, the screenplay by Mario Puzo, one of the all-time greats. I mean, yeah, The Godfather is just an amazing movie. I love seeing Michael Corleone's journey throughout the film, and the ending is one of the all-time great endings. Now, the next round is second movies in each trilogy, and number 5, I'm going to say A Few Dollars More. Now, A Few Dollars More is my personal least favorite of the Fistful of Dollars trilogy. However, it is still a great movie. I do think this is probably the one I see myself rewatching in the future. It is still a great movie. I mean, I do love how much it's set up for the good, the bad, and the ugly, which, as you'll see in a few minutes, I loved the good and bad and the ugly. And, I mean, there was a lot of great things in A Few Dollars More. I loved seeing more Clint Eastwood. I loved just the feel and the setting. And yeah, like I thought it was a beautifully made film. I mean, the score is great. However, it just is my least favorite of the Fistful of Dollars trilogy, and probably the one on this entire list I would probably least rewatch. Still a great movie, but it is number 5 when it comes to second movies in a trilogy. Now, coming in at number 4 is Glass Onion, a Knives Out mystery. I mean, even though this movie does seem to be the controversial one in the Knives Out movies, I would say I liked it more than the first one, honestly. I thought Edward Norton was amazing in this one. I loved, just the ensemble, again. The ensemble in all 3 are just great. Daniel Craig is obviously great. And I do love how they told this out of order a bit, where you think you know where it's going, but then they rewinded a bit. And, yeah, like, I did love that they took a bit of a spin on what I thought I knew what was really coming. I don't think this movie was anywhere near as predictable as the first Knives Out. And as you'll see in a bit, I thought the third one was even less predictable. But yeah, Glass Onion and Knives Out was a lot of fun, but it is number 4 when it comes to second movies. Now coming in number 3 is Lord of the Rings: Two Towers. This is definitely my least favorite of the Lord of the Rings movies. It's still an amazing movie, by the way. I mean, it has the Battle of Helm's Deep, which I thought was amazing. The stuff in the middle with Frodo, Sam, and Gollum was great. The other stuff in the middle is, I mean, probably my least favorite stuff of the trilogy, but it is still fun and all. But, I mean, yeah, I mean, there's still a lot to love about Lord of the Rings: Two Towers, even though it doesn't compare to the other two. I mean, the Battle of Helm's Deep is still one of the all-time greats, final battles. And, I mean, I just love seeing all these characters again. So, yeah, Two Towers is still great, despite the fact it is the worst of the trilogy, but it is still number 3 when it comes to second movies of my top 5 trilogies. Now, coming in at number 2, easily the best number 2 on this entire list when it comes to second in their category for individual movies, Empire Strikes Back. Now, Empire Strikes Back is the best Star Wars movie, definitely. However, I mean, there's just one movie, and when it comes to second movies in this list, I just like a little bit more. But, I mean, obviously it takes everything amazing about New Hope and ramps it up. And as I've gotten older, I've just realized that this movie is just so well paced, start to finish. I mean, I think as a little kid, I probably didn't appreciate it as much, but when I'm older, it's like, this is one of the best paced movies of all time. And, I mean, you really, truly felt the Empire truly striking back. I Am Your Father reveal, one of the best scenes in cinematic history. The Han and Leia romance was amazing. I mean, the score in New Hope was amazing. One of the all-time great movie scores. I thought it was even better in this one. I mean, Empire Strikes Back is just an amazing movie. However, coming in at number 1, when it comes to second movies in a trilogy on this list, The Godfather Part 2. I would say this is the greatest sequel of all time. It takes everything amazing about the first film and just ramps it up. And what's so amazing about Godfather 2 is it managed to be both a prequel to the first Godfather and a sequel. And it was about half and half. And now, I actually probably like the prequel elements with, like, young Vito Corleone more than anything in cinema history. Like, I mean, Robert De Niro's performance in Godfather 2 might be my favorite acting performance of all time. And I just love seeing young Vito Corleone. But, I mean, everything when it comes to present day is amazing as well. I loved seeing Al Pacino really take front and center. And I thought John Cazale was great in this as Fredo. And I thought Lee Strasberg as Hyman Roth was amazing. And I thought he was definitely the best villain of, like, the best, I mean, they're all villains technically, but, like, the best person that isn't, like, in the Corleone families in the entire trilogy. But no, Lee Strasberg as Hyman Roth was amazing. I mean, this movie's just so well acted, so well written, and it has one of the 3 best endings of all time. Yeah, no, Godfather 2 takes everything great about the first film and just ramps it up. So yeah, it is my favorite sequel of all time. It's my favorite movie on this entire list. So yeah, it is number 1 when it comes to second movies. Now, for third movies. And I feel like third movies, in some ways, you could argue I could weight it a little bit more, but no, I'm still equally weighting all of the categories. But yeah, third movies. Number 5 is The Godfather Part 3. I would say this is probably my least favorite movie on this list, but I still love Godfather 3. Like, I don't think this completely derails the entire trilogy. Do I think it compares to the first 2? Absolutely not. But there are still a lot of things to love about Godfather 3. First off, I want to say, I think Al Pacino's performance in this was the best of his performances in the entire trilogy. I really liked Michael Corleone more with each entry. I also thought Andy Garcia was great in Godfather 3. Which reminds me, I'm gonna review that movie tomorrow. I know I was supposed to review it for its, like, 35th anniversary. And, I mean, even though it's a few months late, I still have so much thoughts about Godfather 3 that a few minutes wouldn't do enough justice. So yes, you have been warned. I am doing a Godfather 3 review tomorrow. So yeah, I'm not actually going to talk that much about Godfather 3 because I have a lot of thoughts for it tomorrow. But yes, I'll say this. I do like a lot of things about Godfather 3. I do think it had a good ending. However, there were definitely some very glaring issues that completely held it back from being anywhere near as good as the first two. But overall, it is still a great movie. Like, Godfather 3 is still better than what most people can do on their best days. So it's still actually a movie I love, despite some of its shortcomings. But yes, it is number 5 when it comes to third movies in a trilogy. Now, coming in at number 4 is Return of the Jedi. Now, over time, I do think this is my least favorite of the original Star Wars trilogy. But there is still a lot to love about Return of the Jedi. It is still an amazing movie. I would actually probably say it's better than I would probably say it's better than like the first and second Knives Out and the first and second Fistful of Dollars. So yes, of like the number 4s on the list, this is like, I think this one is probably the most competitive category, especially when it comes to the top 3. But yeah, Return of the Jedi, I mean, the Vader, Luke, and Emperor stuff is probably my favorite stuff in all of Star Wars. It's definitely up there for sure. I mean, I thought the final battle was great. I do think as I've gotten older, while I thought all of that stuff was amazing, and I still think it's an amazing movie, like, I still love Return of the Jedi, I do think everything that isn't Luke, Vader, and Emperor is kind of passable. And the Jabba's Palace stuff is stuff I do really like, but I actually think the Jabba's Palace stuff kind of just feels out of place. Like, it definitely feels like it's trying to tie up a cliffhanger from Empire Strikes Back while also setting up Return of the Jedi. So, Return of the Jedi is actually a bit of a pretty choppy film if you actually ask me. With that being said, I still love a lot about Return of the Jedi. And yes, I do think it is still an amazing end to this trilogy. But it definitely doesn't compare to Empire. And, I mean, we'll see when I rank the Star Wars movies next month. But I will probably put New Hope above it next time. Even though I think I've put Return of the Jedi above New Hope in the past. So yeah, Return of the Jedi is still an amazing movie. But it is number 4 when it comes to third movies in a trilogy. Now, coming in at number 3, it's going to be A Wake Up Dead Man, A Knives Out Mystery. This is easily my favorite Knives Out movie. And it's funny, first 30 minutes, I thought, this is really interesting, but I was like, I don't think I'm going to like this as much as the first 2 Knives Out. I wasn't like over the moon excited for Knives Out 3. I should have also realized it is Rian Johnson, who's one of my favorite directors working right now, and I love the first 2 Knives Out. And then the second half was just something else in this film. I thought this had the best acting in the entire Knives Out trilogy. I thought the story was really interesting. And I completely think this was the most unpredictable Knives Out movie by far. And yeah, the acting in this one was amazing, especially by Glenn Close. But Daniel Craig, I thought this was his best performance. Definitely as Benoit Blanc. Josh Brolin was great. Knives Out 3 was actually pretty incredible. And yeah, it is my favorite Knives Out movie. And yeah, I thought this film was honestly a really good, really interesting psychological drama. But yeah, this was an amazing movie. And while it doesn't feel like exactly a direct sequel, in a lot of ways it still kind of bridges. It does still feel like it loops around from when I first saw Benoit Blanc in the first Knives Out movie. Overall, I do think this is an amazing movie. This is my favorite Knives Out movie, and this is my 3rd favorite movies when it comes to third movies in a trilogy. Now, coming in at number 2 is The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. And it is definitely my favorite of the Fistful of Dollars trilogy. Yeah, The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. Even though it's like 3 hours, it is so entertaining. Clint Eastwood was great. The action, 60 years later, is still phenomenal. Especially the final battle. And I just love how you just completely see him not really as this good person. I mean, not that I thought he was really a good person in the first 2 films. But I thought in this one, you really just see him like kind of having like, you just kind of see this town where no one really has any morals. But I mean, it was an amazing movie. It was just so much fun. And yeah, I mean, this movie's 60 years old, but it still holds up so well that today. Yeah, I love The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. It is my second favorite movie when it comes to third movies in a trilogy. But coming in at number 1 is gonna be Lord of the Rings: Return of the King. It is my favorite Lord of the Rings movie, and it is just one of my all-time favorite movies. I think this movie's pretty incredible. I mean, the journey you see with all these characters was just beautiful. And I just love how you see it loop around from the first film. The final battle is one of the all-time great final battles. I mean, I really don't know if anything could ever be recreated like this in cinema ever again. Like, this movie is pretty phenomenal. I think it is one of the all-time great movies. And yeah, it is definitely my favorite third movie in a trilogy. So now I will just do my personal preference round, and then I will reveal the results from all 5 rounds cumulative of Showdown style. But individually, my ranking of these 5 trilogies would go, number 5, I would say, will be the Fistful of Dollars trilogy. Number 4, I'll say the Knives Out trilogy. Number 3, I'll say the Star Wars original trilogy. Number 2, I'll say the Godfather trilogy. And number 1, I'll say the Lord of the Rings trilogy. If it was just like the best 2-parter, the Godfather would be number 1. And even though I don't dislike Godfather 3, I still like it quite a bit. It does hold it back a little bit, where it's like I will put Lord of the Rings above it. However, what are the final results if I'm just going by Showdown style? And by the way, if there's a tie, the tiebreaker will go to my personal preference. So, personal preference aside, Showdown style, here is the results of all 5. It actually is the same ranking as my personal ranking. However, the point totals, so yeah, number 5 was the Fistful of Dollars with 21 points. Number 4 was the Knives Out with 20 points. Number 3 was the Star Wars OG trilogy with 15 points. Number 2 was the Godfather trilogy with 11 points. And yeah, points, more points is worse. Basically, first place is 1 point, fifth place is 5 points, is 5 points. And then, yeah, number 1 with 8 points is the Lord of the Rings trilogy, which had, 3 first place rounds, 1 second place, and it did have 1 third place round, but yeah, it was in the top 3 of every round, the only trilogy to have that for every single round. And The Godfather actually had 2 first place, 2 second place, but it did have a 5th place, which did inflate its score quite a bit. But yeah, Lord of the Rings trilogy does reign supreme, but all 5 of these trilogies are amazing. And yeah, shout out to all 5 of these trilogies. The Lord of the Rings is number 1. Now, thanks for watching. Feel free to share your 5 favorite trilogies down below in the comments. And tomorrow, I'll be doing my long-awaited Godfather 3 review. And I'll actually do some other just reviews for like movies that had maybe anniversaries recently. Yeah, there are a lot of movies I actually do want to just do individual reviews on. Since I'm doing a 200-day posting streak, I'll definitely knock out a few. And if there's a movie you want me to see, or just a movie you want me to review, feel free to let me know down below in the comments. Now, thanks for watching, and peace out.